Hi, Summer. I'm so sorry for the delay. I got the time wrong on my calendar. I had put 4:30 instead of 4, and I was like, "Oh no." So
It's
that was
okay.
entirely my mistake. I
I
apologize.
didn't even realize, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's like an hour past."
Oh, okay. So we both had a little
Yeah.
oopsie today. I'm so sorry because Jody had talked to me about doing 4 o'clock, and then I had 4:30 somehow. So I just had messed up with that. So I'm glad we were able to connect. So how are you today? How's your voice feeling?
Everybody's feeling fine.
Excellent. Great. Wonderful. Alrighty. So tell me, what do you think might be a fun thing to work on for this week? What did you have in mind for our session this week?
Can we do like more duo voice lines?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Did you want to work on like contrasting characters, or do you want to do more like responding, reacting off of another character?
Did you ever get in touch with Andy?
Oh yes.
Oh, she's on right
So
now.
sorry
Okay.
about that, Jody. Yes, we both actually got mixed up on time today, so we are connecting now. So thank you so much for checking in.
She always does.
Alrighty.
Um,
Oh, that's great. Awesome. Yeah, I
Contrasting
had
character.
texted because I was like, I think I messed up. So yeah, I'm glad we were able to get connected. All right, so working on conversations with two characters. So one really great thing to practice is the reacting off of another character, because sometimes you'll be in isolation booths, excuse me, where you're actually mic'd separately. So you'll have people that you're hearing in your headset in real time and reacting off of. And then another thing that can be a challenge is occasionally you'll be asked to play multiple characters. And sometimes they'll have you read each line separately and be like, okay, do all of this character's lines first and then do all of that character's lines. Um, but sometimes, especially if you're doing, for instance, a narration project and you're playing all the characters, you'll have conversations that go back and forth, and you're just
Mhm.
doing each of the characters, and it's going to cut way down on your editing time if you can just go through the conversation with the contrasting characters. So, those all could be scenarios that you found yourself in. Um, Tell me what could be some character types or maybe some emotions that we might like to excuse me, explore today, um, as we're going through these conversations.
Probably like the stereotypical like sunshine character and gloomy character.
Okay, yeah, the contrast. Love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, nice. Um, let's see what I have here. Hmm. Let's see. Okay, this one is for two female characters, Mara and Ellie. I guess it could be Eli. You could do either a boy or a girl. Let me see here. I'm gonna cut out some of the excess, just because it only lets me send so much at a time. All right, so this is in a coffee shop. It looks like it's morning. They're in a coffee shop. It's raining outside. Um, okay, it does say Eli, but it could be a girl as well. It doesn't matter. We can make it Ellie. So Mara is already in the coffee shop, and then Ellie, we'll say, is coming into the coffee shop out of the rain. Ellie would be the like bright, sunshiny character, and then Mara is going to be the character that's more of like the gloomy, um, sunshine and like a contrasting character
Mhm.
with like a more like storm cloud character.
Mhm.
All right. So go ahead and take a moment to read through that silently and just kind of process what's going on with these characters. And then tell me, who do you think they are to each other? How do you think they know each other? Um, what do you think is their relationship here?
I just read through Eli is the guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Says watches him sip coffee with my mother Joy.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Um, let's see. Okay. So yeah, so what do you think is their relationship? How do you think they know each other? Or are they just meeting for the first time right now?
I think they're just like friends in a coffee shop.
Okay. All right. Um, cool. So yeah. So they're friends, they're just meeting at the coffee shop. And what do you think could have happened right before for each of these characters? Like for Eli, where do you think he's coming from? And like Mara, what do you think could have happened like earlier in the day coming into this?
I think Eli might have been finishing up with like some classes on their campus and then walked to the coffee shop like after the storm had cleared, but Mara had gotten there while it was raining.
Okay. Yeah.
Was kind of just waiting at a table for them because they she knows he'll eventually show up.
Awesome. Great. So do you think Mara's kind of mad?
I think she's more just like overall gloomy.
Okay, just like generally.
Hmm.
Okay, great. Awesome. So then let's see. Just like personality wise. And then do you think that either of them come in wanting something from the other, or like what do you think each of them needs in this moment?
I think Eli needs to like somebody to talk to while
Yeah.
Mara kind of just needs human contact.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So for Mara, it's more of just like needing some connection and like quality time, right? And
Mm.
then, um, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, just like needing something to kind of get some connection and contact with another person. Like maybe she works remote from home and like doesn't get out a whole lot and just like is kind of an introvert or something, and just this is good for her to stretch herself or something. Like maybe her counselor was like, it'd be good for you to like see some friends.
Mhm.
She's like, okay.
I'll let them
I'll
come
go
to
out.
me.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Cool. So for this first read through, do you want to play Eli or Mara?
Mara.
Okay, great. All right, so I'll be Eli, so I'll have that first line. So you're gonna kind of get yourself in that headspace of like being in the coffee shop, being her character, embodying that character. Whew, you wouldn't believe the rainbow outside. It's like the sky decided to apologize.
Rainbows are just light getting lost and scattered.
Or they're proof that something beautiful can show up after a storm. Depends how you look at it.
I've looked. It still gets wet.
Then maybe you're not supposed to avoid the rain. Maybe you're supposed to dance in it.
Dancing gets you cold.
So does sitting alone. Oh, hey, but at least the dancing warms you from the inside.
You ever just have a day where everything feels gray?
Sure, but I paint over it anyway. Gray's just the background. The picture's up to you. Nice. Awesome. So, all right. So then who do you think would be a character that is from a show or from something that you've seen that kind of reminds you of these characters? Like if we did My Hero Academia, for instance, like who would be some characters that are like the Grumpy and Sunshine characters?
Tokoyami and Mina.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you can have like an idea in your head of a relationship and characters that already have that kind of vibe. And sometimes that can help us to get a little more insights into these characters as well. All right, so let's try it again. And you're going to take your character inspiration and think of how would they say this if they were in this situation? Okay.
Okay.
You wouldn't believe the rainbow outside. It's like the sky decided to apologize.
Rainbows are just light getting lost and scattered.
Or they're proof that something beautiful can show up after a storm. Depends how you look at it.
I've looked. It still gets wet.
Then maybe you're not supposed to avoid the rain. Maybe you're supposed to dance in it.
Dancing gets you cold.
So does sitting alone. But at least dancing warms you from the inside.
You ever just have a day where everything feels gray?
Sure. But I paint over it anyway. Gray's just the background. The picture's up to you. Okay, awesome. So, how did that change the scene? What did you maybe do differently, or how did you approach it differently?
I realize Tokoyami's not really a character to get like annoyed by somebody's optimism all that much.
Yeah.
So I changed from Mara getting upset at the very end when there was
Mm,
so much optimism to
yeah.
genuinely curious on if that actually happens to her for
Yeah.
him.
Okay. Yeah, right. I also really like that perspective that it's changing throughout. So it's not the same all through. It kind of goes to different places. Um, So yeah, I think that's a great consideration too, because we want to keep it active. So it not just being kind of like, it stays on this same plane all throughout, but it's like it has a beginning, middle, and end to it. And it feels like it has more shape to it. Um, so if you said maybe for your character what you feel like their emotion is at the beginning, the middle, and the end of this scene, what would you say?
In the beginning, they're like reluctant to start talking to Eli.
Mhm.
And in the middle, they're kind of getting into the conversation to end it quickly. And at the
Yeah.
end, they genuinely want to know if they ever feel the same way.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and we're gonna try it again. And we're gonna try having that kind of arc to this scene.
Okay.
You wouldn't believe the rainbow outside. It's like the sky decided to apologize.
Rainbows are just light getting lost and scattered.
Or they're proof that something beautiful can show up after a storm. Depends how you look at it.
I've looked. It still gets wet.
Then maybe you're not supposed to avoid the rain. Maybe you're supposed to dance in it.
Dancing gets you cold.
So does sitting alone. But at least dancing warms you from the inside.
You ever just have a day where everything feels gray?
Sure. But I paint over it anyway. Gray's just the background. The picture's up to you. Awesome. Great. Yeah. I do feel like your character is like trying to actually get him to like see where she's at. And he's just like, come on, it's a fun day.
See the
And you're
bleak
like, but like
perspective
real
versus the one that's
talk,
so
like I'm
colorful.
having a bad day. Just like let me have a bad day and like feel for me and connect with me. And he's like still trying to pep you up at the end.
Mm.
He's never like, yeah, I hear you. Sometimes it can just be a really crummy day and you just feel down? And it's like you're trying to get that and not getting it, which is kind of like, ugh. That can be kind of frustrating for your character to be like, I just want someone to be like, yeah, I get that. Like sometimes I feel down too?
Mm.
And he is just not meeting you there. Awesome. So, let's try flip-flopping roles just for the exercise, the experience,
Mm. Okay.
and just see what happens. All right, so you're going to be Eli this time.
Okay. You wouldn't believe the rainbow outside. It's like the sky decided to apologize.
Rainbows are just light getting lost and scattered.
Oh, they're proof that something beautiful can show up after a storm. Depends how you look at
I've looked. It still gets wet.
it. Then maybe you're not supposed to avoid the rain. Maybe you're supposed to dance in it.
Dancing gets you cold.
Well, so does sitting alone, but at least dancing warms you from the inside.
You ever just have a day where everything feels gray?
Sure, but I'd paint over it anyway. Hold, please. Gray's just the background. The picture's up to you.
Awesome. I really love that. I felt like your last line really was like much more like thoughtful and compassionate.
Mhm.
I really liked that. That's awesome. Yeah, like meeting her where she's at. That was beautiful. Very nice. So what did you maybe get as like insights by swapping characters? What did you learn from that?
They can both have like a negative moment. Just because
Mhm.
one is the optimistic one doesn't mean that they can't like feel the same way as the other character through like a
Yeah.
simple line.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Right. That there, there's more like depth to the different characters. They're not just two-dimensional, like this is, what their character is. They have like all these different facets to them. Um, nice, very nice. Good contrast there. So I'd love to try having you actually do the scene as both characters as well, just to see what that feels like. If they were like, "Hey, can you play both of these characters?" And just read both of the lines. So let's try one time. Just having you go through and only do Eli's lines. If they were like, "Hey, we're just going to have you play Eli and just do Eli's lines," um, and they had you just like read through Eli's lines only. So you don't actually have someone to respond to, you just have to make strong choices for that character. So what would you do if you just had Eli's lines and they said, "Okay, you're just going to record this?"
Do I still have like the parentheses of how I would do things?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
like good direction notes. Yeah.
So, if I didn't know how they were gonna say it, then should I just like try reading through it now?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. You wouldn't believe the rainbow outside. It's like the sky decided to apologize. Or they're proof that something beautiful can show up after a storm. Depends how you look at it. Then maybe you're not supposed to avoid the rain. Maybe you're supposed to dance in it. So does sitting alone. But at least dancing warms you from the inside. Sure, but I paint over it anyway. Or it's just the background. The picture's up to you.
Nice. And then sometimes they'll ask you to just read certain lines again. They might be like, "Okay, could we just do the line, so does sitting alone, do that block? And this time, can you say it more like with a little like attitude or sass?"
So does sitting alone. But at least dancing warms you from the inside.
Okay, cool. Can we try that line again? But this time, can it be a little bit more playful and maybe flirty a little bit?
So does sitting alone. But at least dancing warms you from the inside.
Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and move on. So sometimes they'll do that, or they'll be like, "Can we just do this line again? And can you read it like this?" And so they'll give you some other directions. And it's just so they have options and choices for later and they'll kind of see how it flows. So a lot of the time they'll give you kind of what they're thinking for it. Like you've got beaming, sitting down anyway, laughing, you get those. But then sometimes they'll be like, "Hey, let's just redo this one line again with this directive, like say it like you're whispering a lullaby, or say it like you're teasing them, say it like
Mhm.
you're accusing them," right? And they'll give you a direction and then you just redo that one line. So
Mhm.
let's try that same thing with Mara this time. So you're just going to go through just Mara's lines as her individual character.
Okay. Rainbows are just light getting lost and scattered. I've looked. It still gets wet. Dancing gets you cold. You ever just have a day where everything feels gray?
Nice. Yeah, good. So then they might be like, okay, let's try it again, but this time make her really monotone and like kind of like Eeyore, like very mellow.
Rainbows are just like getting lost and scattered. I've looked, it still gets wet. Dancing gets you cold. You ever just have a day where everything feels gray?
Okay, awesome. Now let's try like you're really annoyed with him.
Rainbows are just light getting lost and scattered. I've looked, it still gets wet. Dancing gets you cold. You ever just have a day where everything feels gray?
Nice. Good. Yeah. So then they would have some variety to choose from.
Hmm.
Nice. Awesome. So you could have different situations like that where um, they could have you reading with another person back and forth where you get to play off of each other. They could have you just read one character or they might have you read both characters. Um, I've been maybe like hired for one character and then I showed up and they were like, hey, we're also going to have you read for like this smaller character too, or we're gonna have you like added into the maybe like the crowd scenes in the background, and then like if it's something they need to talk to my agent about or whatever, they'll like work out payment for that.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's a situation where it's like a flat fee, so it's like you just go in and you get like 800 for that session or whatever. So it's like a certain time frame, and they've already like worked that out with your agent. And you'll like know your cast is a bigger character, and then they'll like have you like add into the crowd scenes or whatever too. So sometimes that'll happen where they're like, surprise, you're doing this too. And usually if it's like an additional whole character, they're gonna compensate you differently. Um,
Hmm.
so it kind of depends on the contract. But yeah, I was thinking playing with that kind of grumpy sunshine as well with our My Hero characters. Um, that we could do a scene with some of those characters. It looks like this is a little bit long, so give me just a moment to shorten it a little bit because sending it through, it's a little bit long. But you
Hmm.
already know the characters from the show, which is helpful. So, like processing, who they are and relationships and whatnot. Um, So Bakugo is one of the characters, and then Kirishima is the other character. Um, all right. So, if you were going to pick one of these characters for this first read through, who would you pick?
Probably Kirishima.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So it looks like they're just kind of like training.
Hmm.
Bakugo's been practicing and whatnot. And Kirishima is like, yo, I want to like practice with you,
Hmm.
kind of thing. Let's practice together. Okay. Oh, it looks like it's a stormy day. All right. So same, same kind of thing. Except they're like actually out in it. It looks
Hmm.
like they're kind of having like a little fight. All right. Okay. So Kirishima is going to be more of the like happy sunshine character for this one. All
Hmm.
right. Okay, so go ahead and start.
Okay. Yo, Bakugo, training again in this weather? You're gonna blow yourself up like a soggy firecracker, man.
Shut it, hair for brains. Real fights don't wait for sunny skies.
True, but they also don't hand out medals for pneumonia.
You here to run your mouth or train?
Both. Come on, let's make it interesting. Loser buys the next round of soba.
Like hell, I'm buying you anything.
That's the spirit. You ever take a break, man? You'll burn out at this rate.
I don't break. I win.
Yeah, but don't you have to win alone, bro? Nope. Yeah, but you don't have to win alone, bro. You've got friends, remember?
Friends just slow me down.
Nah, they make you stronger. You just don't want to admit it yet.
You talk too much.
And you blow up too much. Guess we balance each other out.
Yeah. Kirishima is one of my favorite characters. Yeah.
He's such a sweetheart.
Yeah. But like super strong too. Like
Hmm.
good pal to have fighting at your side. All right, awesome. Yeah, so Baku goes out there like being like, I have to be the best.
Uh-huh.
Like he
I
always is.
was I was like, that line doesn't make sense when I messed it up. I was like,
Oh,
all
you're like, wait
right.
a minute, what am I saying?
Hold on a second.
I mean, it's just the first read through. So, what are some insights you maybe got there? What do you think maybe could have happened before this? Like, I feel like for Bakugo, it could be something like he lost at like a practice battle or something and he's mad about it, or it's like somebody else got picked for something and he didn't, and he's frustrated. He's like, I should have had that internship or whatever. And he's like trying to prove himself or, get better.
I feel like in this situation, in like the most recent villain attack, he probably like didn't feel like he was strong enough, so he's been training
Yeah.
for days.
That could be. Yeah. Yeah. Um, right. So he's just been like every day, just anytime he's not in class, just out there practicing. Yeah. Nonstop. And so like Kirishima, I feel like could have been like inside, like getting a snack, playing a video game or something, and he's like, yo, dude, come inside, like play with us or whatever. And he's like, well, if you're gonna train, I'll come join you, just being a good friend. Um, yeah. So um do you feel like Kirishima is like concerned about Bakugo? Or how do you kind of envision that?
I feel like sorry, hold on.
Oh, it's okay.
I feel like most of his friends would be concerned in this situation, but
Yeah.
Kirishima's more like happy that he's doing something to try and like better himself in the
Yeah.
scenario.
So like pretty supportive and being like, yeah, that's
Mhm.
just him.
And he's like,
I'll
I'll
just go
help
join
so that he
him.
doesn't feel as bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll go join him. Like I
Hmm.
could use the extra practice. Why not?
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so he's more like, that's just Bakugo doing his thing. Yeah,
Hmm.
so a little more chill about all of it. So like, maybe someone else is like, he's been out there every single day. I'm kind of worried about him. And you're like, he's fine. I'll go join him. And so you like throw on a jacket and run out there with him. Um, yeah. And so what do you think Kirishima's goal is? Like maybe you want to join him for a practice round, but then like you want him to take a break and come have some fun. Um, or are you just like there to be a supportive friend?
Probably to be supportive to like help him get through it and like
Yeah.
if he can defeat Kirishima, then Kirishima thinks it's like it'll make him feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, love that. All right, cool. Um, right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're like, I just want to be a good friend. Cheer him up a little bit. All right. So let's go ahead and try it one more time.
Okay. Yo, Bakugo, training again this weather? You're gonna blow yourself up like a soggy firecracker, man.
Shut it, hair for brains. Real fights don't wait for sunny skies.
True, but they also don't hand out medals for pneumonia.
You here to run your mouth or train?
Both. Come on, let's make it interesting. Loser buys the next round of soba.
Like hell, I'm buying you anything.
That's the spirit. You ever take a break, man? You'll burn out at this rate.
I don't break. I win.
Yeah, but you don't have to win alone, bro. You've got friends, remember?
Psh, friends just slow me down.
Nah, they make you stronger. You just don't want to admit it yet.
You talk too much.
And you blow up too much. Guess we balance each other out.
Nice. Yeah, I like how like playful and just like, teasing
It's like,
him and
your
like
words won't hurt me.
exactly. You're like, Psh, you're just full of hot air. I know you. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're like, Psh, say what you want. You're like, I got your back, bro. Yeah, it's great. I really like the contrast there. That's awesome. Yeah. So what would you say is maybe, um, for Kirishima's character, what would you say is like a key takeaway from that? Like, is there something you can kind of learn from that scene?
Um, I can't think of anything.
Oh, it's okay. I felt like this time through, we had more variety. Like the first time through, it felt a little more like you just kind of stayed in the same kind of energy. And this time I felt like there was a little bit more variety. Um, like with the question marks or like the exclamation points or like true, but they also don't, or like, both. Come on, like a little more variety, where you're like really trying to engage with Bakugo. Um, like I could hear trying to actually like get him to react and engage with you. Um, and it felt more like you were paying attention to like the nuance of the phrases this time rather than just like across the board, just the general character. So I really enjoyed that. Really nice. So what would you say is something that kind of stands out to you with a scene that is like the Grumpy and Sunshine character contrast? Um, what's something that you can do to kind of like play that up or to um really like lean into creating that contrast a little bit more, playing off of the other character?
And Sunshine characters tend to like lead to a resolution with each other for like a small
Yeah.
issue if it's like episodic, sort of.
Okay.
So like in a
Yeah.
show, it's always those two characters that come together to fix whatever it is, even if there's other
Mm,
characters that could be main in the story.
right. Yeah.
But
So
to
it's like
like,
the big action happens
yeah,
with that conflict. Yeah.
yeah. But to
Yeah.
like to play into those characters, I feel like you have to feel like mentally separate yourself as if you were two different characters. So all your positive
Yeah.
goes on one side and your negative stays dormant, and it's as if
Right.
that person turns into the person playing the negative character.
So it's almost like you sort of like have an off switch for that other
Yeah.
part of you. Yeah, where you just really lean into this aspect of the character. Yeah. Yeah, nice. Um, I feel like too with like My Hero Academia, we have a very specific style, like a specific style of anime, style of energy to the words. We have a very clear idea when you have different types of characters or things that you're playing voices for, if it's like a cartoon or a video game or an anime. And then also we have like different styles as well. Like you might have something that's more of like shonen anime or you have like slice of life, they might have a very different energy to them, right? And
Mhm.
so thinking a little bit about like the stylistic qualities, um like some people, my brother really loves art, and so when he watches anime, he's really particular about like the art style. Whereas like some people are very into a specific genre of anime, right? And as a voice actor, we have to pay attention to what type of anime it is and like what's the energy, what's the pacing. Like some have a much slower pacing and others have a really fast pacing to them, right? If you do something like Dr. Stone, it's a lot more like educational. And I feel like even in the serious conflict things, it's a little more like fun. Whereas you can have things that are really, really serious and heavy kind of feeling, or you can have things that are very like light and slow and just breezy kind of feeling. Um, so paying attention to those kind of things too. Like I feel like My Hero Academia has like a pretty high energy all the time. And even when it's serious, it also always has this kind of like spirit of fun and growth to it. Um, and so yeah, like it always has this kind of like positive, optimistic spin, like even in the heavier parts. So yeah, just thinking a little bit about the style as well, because I felt like with these two scenes, we did have a little bit of a style shift. So that's another thing you can kind of lean into and play with. Alrighty.
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'll see you in a couple weeks. I'll touch base with Jody and make sure we confirm on the time, and I'll check my calendar too to make sure I've got the same
Okay.
times. Um, and I'll just double check and confirm that with her just to be sure because I was like, oh no, I think I had the wrong time today. So I'm so sorry about the confusion there, and I'm really glad we were able to connect.
Mhm.
And it was a really fun session. So keep up the good work, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
You too.
All right, bye, Summer.
Bye.